me today. We're going to be talking about fusion extensions. We've done tape and extensions in her hair before, and we decided this time to do fusions for her pageant that she has coming up, and she's going to nationals. So she won the state pageant. She is Mrs. South Carolina, and she's also my mom. So give us a round of applause for Mrs. South Carolina International. So we did the tape and extensions on her hair previously, and her hair's just so, go on. Okay. All right, everybody say hi to her dog. He looks horrible, he needs a hairdo too. We did the tape extensions and her hair is very fine, so we wanted a alternative for her hair for this go around. So I got professional training from the CEO of DiBiase Hair Extensions, and she taught me how to do these fusions, and I'm gonna go in her hair and kind of show you how they work, and we're going to ask a couple questions so that you all know like what to expect when you are considering doing fusions. This is also day number 3, I believe, that she's had them in. Yep. So she just washed them yesterday for the first time. How did they feel when you first got them put in, like the first night?
The first night they felt really tight, and I could feel where it was pulling on my natural hair quite a bit, and laying on them was kind of difficult. I had to make sure that it was laying down flat and not sticking up at all or going to the side. And once I did that, it was pretty good. And then the second night, it was a lot better. Last night, it was a lot better sleeping on them. I don't think it was any bit uncomfortable. And then also during the day, it does hurt, especially when I put it up in a ponytail, all the hairs in the back. It just hurts to lift my hair up. And it's sensitive for when I brush through it and everything.
So basically, something to look for when you first get fusion extensions is that it will take about a day to kind of get used to them, and they'll kind of like be a little bit irritated the first week, at least a little bit. It does take about typically 3 days for the hair to kind of get used to having foreign objects in your hair, because it's not used to having some tension, which is why the fusions are much better for, I guess, like finer hair and also for hair loss, because it's not as heavy and it doesn't pull as much. So if you have extensions in general, they will have a little bit of irritation the first week, but if you take care of them properly and make sure that you go back for a follow-up appointment at least within the first couple weeks of having them in, you should have no problems. Your hair should not be keeping you up at night. It should not make you lose sleep over it. But the first night definitely will be a little bit more irritated than any of the other nights. Her natural length before we put the extensions in looks like this. Her natural hair is about right here, but it is very, very fine, which is why we were wanting something that blends really well with her natural hair and gives her maximum volume. I'm gonna do another video reviewing the tape extensions, but the main difference with it is that you can't go past a certain point on the head with the tape extensions, or also to expose the tapes. So we couldn't get maximum volume with those, and these are much more natural on her hair. But I am wanting to alternate tapes and fusions for the national pageant when the time comes. A little bit about the fusions is that we can reuse them if the hair is properly intact still, and they do last a lot longer before we move up the extensions. It lasts about 3 to 6 months typically, and then the tape extensions will usually last about 4 to 8 weeks. So another question is, does the hair feel heavy?
This, I think, feels a lot lighter than the tape-in extensions because it's strand by strand instead of on a strip of tape. But it feels a lot more natural and more movable than the tape-in.
A simple maintenance instruction with the fusions is not to do a high ponytail or bun or anything like that. the first few days of having the extensions in, otherwise it will pull because it's so close to the scalp. So when these are applied, they need to be applied a little bit further from the scalp so that you have room for it to move, and then it will feel much more comfortable, like as the hair starts to grow itself out and the fusion starts to grow a little bit apart from the scalp. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the inside of her hair so that you can see what to look for and how I guess it should look when you have the fusions in. Okay, so this is the back of her head. It is very seamless. The quality of the hair seems really nice. We did have to give it a good trim because the ends did seem to tangle up a lot, but that's very normal with extensions. So you want to get a length of extension that you wouldn't mind cutting an inch or two off. And we've got some Christmas in the background because it's Christmas around here. So okay, so this is inside of her hair. I kind of parted it just wherever, but you can see that there's high and low lights in here. So there's like, if you get multiple variations of colors, that actually works really well and blends with the color, because these are like 2 shades of a difference, lighter and darker, and it still blends really well. So I don't know if you can see all of these, but there's a lot in there. This is just an example of what it should look like. It should be just a flat surface, and it is fused to her hair with keratin. This is not plastic. You do not want to use a product that has plastic. You do not want to fuse plastic to your hair, nor should you ever fuse plastic to your hair. This company uses keratin. Keratin is a natural protein that your hair is made out of, so this is very beneficial, and you can see these in here. She has a ton of fine baby hairs because of regrowth in here. So it was a little bit difficult to apply these. And she does have quite a few crosshairs for that reason, but we are doing our best, and this is what we would do in a follow-up appointment, is find the ones that are kind of hurting, that got some of those baby hairs inside of the fusion, snip the crosshair off. This one has a crosshair. I don't know if you can see that little hair right there, but you do not want to go ahead and snip any of these yourself, but your stylist would go ahead and take a little tiny tool and basically go in there and just snip that one crosshair, and it'll loosen it. It'll loosen the hair much more, and you wouldn't have much pulling. So that is why it is very important to make sure that you have a follow-up appointment. And then also, you will have some pieces fall out over the course of a month or so, just a few, because it is natural for hair to fall out in general. And as your natural hair sheds, so will the pieces, just like eyelash extensions. So this is plenty of hair. You know, when a couple falls out, I'm not going to be devastated or anything. It's very natural. Alright, so that was basically just like an intro of like what they look like and what to expect, and just a really quick rundown before I finish, because she's got an interview and I got to talk really fast, is you have to wait 48 hours to wash the extensions. You can't put a lot of tension on them. There is a daily maintenance of brushing with a very soft brush through the extensions to make sure that they're separated, otherwise they will mat up and you don't want that. Letting your stylist know if there's any problems. You need to brush the hair very softly from the bottom up in small sections so that you're not tugging on the hair, because if you pull, it will fall out.
And it hurts.
Yeah, and it's not gonna fall, it's not gonna slip out of your hair. It's gonna take your real hair with it, and it's not comfortable. This should not make your natural hair fall out any more than naturally what it does. If it starts making your hair blister, and if it starts pulling your hair out, then you don't need to be wearing these, or you need to go to somebody else to get them done, because that is not normal. A quick price point, usually the fusions are a little bit more expensive than any other type of extension, but it lasts way longer, and it is much more natural and good for certain types of people who have special types of hair with finer hair or hair loss or sensitive scalps or whatever. So they are typically more expensive. They can be in the upper hundreds to even thousands of dollars, depending where you're located, and then also depending who's doing it. But it is well worth it from what we've seen so far. It's a very good option, and there actually are people who have alopecia or hair loss, and they'll have like patches in their hair, like complete patches, or where they'll have surgery so they have to shave a part of their hair. The stylists who use these fusions will fuse the hair above the patch, and it'll kind of like blend over the patch, so it's very, very beneficial for cancer patients, alopecia, people who are having hair loss or thyroid problems or whatever the case may be. I think that's all that I can cover as of right now that I have on the top of my head. So if you have any more questions, don't be afraid to link a comment below and I will give you the best answer that I have for you. And I hope that you have the best of luck if you are wondering more about extensions and you are venturing out into the world of extensions. And I hope that you have very happy experiences, and don't be afraid to let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, share, comment, whatever, just be my friend. And then if you would like to follow Denise on her journey, on her Instagram page and Facebook, is a really, really cool platform, so you might want to look into her page, but I will link her pages down below in the description bar and you can check her out. And I hope that you all have a wonderful and a blessed day.